What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball FighterZ for y'all, and this time we're going to be talking about the problem with Bardock. Bardock is a pretty interesting character to talk about because at one point this game was about Bardock, and I actually think that a lot of the things in this game are also balanced around Bardock, but that's a topic for another video. Today I want to talk about his good points and how he kind of fell off and why. So, unlike some of the characters I've covered before, it's not like we don't know stuff about Bardock and what's good about him. So, for example, buttons, right? So, you can never forget the legendary 5L. And he also had quite a good full auto combo. He had one where the last hit of his auto combo doesn't have head invincibility, but it reaches really, really high. So, you can use it anyway as an anti-air. And of course, in this game, auto combos autocrit. Another good thing about Bardock is that he can create his own plus frame. So he has a move called Tyrant Lancer. This is a quarter circle forward S or 236 S, where he kind of pulls up and punches you in the gut. This move is +4 and it costs no meter. Being able to create your own frame advantage without assists is a very, very, very privileged thing in this game. There's not a lot of characters who have access to it. Most characters who have tools like that, either they're exceptionally slow or they have to use meter. So for example, I have SSJ Goku here. He can do an airtight string into his beam, actually. If you didn't know this, it's kind of low-key. It's been in the game since Season 1, I'm pretty sure. But with this technique, he's able to create his own plus frames, but he has to spend 1 bar to do so. On the other hand, the father of Goku can just do this. He can also hold it, so that in the case someone tries to reflect, he can punish and go into a big, big combo.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. LordKnight is on the tear right now. Oh, no. Reflected at the wrong time.
That's such a scary move to try to reflect.
Another long-time shining thing about Bardock is how mobile he is and how threatening he is at a lot of ranges. We already talked about his buttons, more than anything else, his jab being really good, but Bardock is the character that made this type of move a threat in the first place. This is near full screen, and he's able to reach you in around 15-16 frames. This is basically unseeable speed, especially when you consider all the other things a character can do at that spot. And to top it off, he has a full screen one that's 18 frames. So essentially, Bardock is a threat at any range on the ground. He combines this with an ability to do a lariat up in the air, where if you combine this with an assist, you get a pretty favorable situation. His air mobility is worth mentioning as well. So he does have a lariat in the air, which is also really strong in combination with assists. And he's able to alter his air momentum with his JS and his down dive. It's also implied that he adds support to the team. So not only is he really good at doing combos and assist extensions, he has a bunch of ways to easily extend his combos. He also has a level 1, so he adds more damage to your team just by him being on the team. So with all these good points, what is the problem with Bardock? So he actually is a really interesting one because if you've been playing this game since Season 1, he probably was the most dominating top tier DLC character that we've had. It might be a take. I'm kind of thinking about comparing him and GT Goku and UI Goku at some point and just looking at all their tools and seeing how they compare to each other. A lot of Bardock's tools that we know now have been toned down, and the main thing they were aiming for with him is to take away his mix-up ability. So for example, at one point this move had no landing recovery, so you could use it as a really good 50-50 with mostly any assists. He also does not have a JM like most characters. His JM usually whiffs if you do it fast enough, or if the opponent is crouching, or if you do it too high. So it's kind of hard to set up mix-ups with doing an instant air dash JM. A lot of times you need to do jump and then air dash, which means you need a ton of block stun to work with if you want to do 50-50s with him. So for a long time, people liked using Kid Buu with Bardock because they did support each other pretty well, and then he got the mix-up that he needed. But if you didn't play characters with very high block stun, you had to either take decent risks to go for mix-ups, or you have to rely on conditioning, and there are definitely characters that are better at it than he is. He's good at conditioning characters, but other characters have tools like command grabs or instant cross-ups that make it much more scary in the conditioning situation, where Bardock does not have these things. The best thing that Bardock has going for him in these situations is Tyrant Lancer, where he can make his own plus frames. Also, once upon a time, Bardock didn't necessarily have to be a point character or a mid character. He could be in any slot because his old level 3 DHC led to a mix-up as well. In mid-screen, it led to a 4-way, and in the corner, it led to a high-low. Now it's been changed so he can't do that. So overall, I think that he just lacks flexibility compared to before, and they really shoehorned him into playing a neutral role. And he does have really good neutral threat, but both as a point character and a support character, there are characters that do what he does better. The only thing he like super excels at that it's really uncommon for characters to match him is the threat from full screen or near full screen, since he can get to you instantly. So for comparison, I like using base Vegeta. In my region, he's really popular. People think he's super strong. I think he's strong too. I don't necessarily think he's like top 5 or whatever, but I think he is a really good parallel in comparison to Bardock. So for example, he has full screen threat as well, right? But instead of using the normal Ki Blast, you have this IADJS, which is heavily advantageous if the opponent blocks it. He also has a way to establish himself in full screen by using the medium kick. It's 22 frames, so it's not as fast as the EX Lariat. Also, it's punishable, but since you're generally using base Vegeta point, you usually have an assist or something to cover you, so this is fine. However, unlike Bardock, who has problems setting up mix-up, base Vegeta has a bunch of flexible ways to set up 50-50s. These all lead into quite a bit of damage and a lot of meter gain, and almost always, depending on how you're playing, his buffed level 3 that gives him another 50-50. Now, you can't DHC into the buffed level 3 for base Vegeta, but when he does get it, he gets a high-low in the corner, and he gets a 4-way mid-screen, just like Season 1 Bardock. So Bardock is a really shining example of you having to be okay with a character missing something, because he is extremely good at the full screen game and how threatening he is and how mobile he is, and his conditioning game is pretty good despite not having a command grab or a fast cross up. But the mix-up issue was so big for some people, including myself, that in Season 2, when he was still rated like top 5-ish, I started rating him lower and I dropped him for Team Gohan. Hopefully that made sense. I do think this character is very strong in this game. He's definitely come a long way, probably in the good way. He was super broken in Season 1 and maybe one of the best characters in the game ever. As usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.